Can we touch on, and I know you touched on the corporate partnerships with the startups and you try to connect. Can you dig a little deeper on the corporate opportunity? Because we want to open that up to not only corporations in McKinney, but across Collin County and the rest of the Metroplex, to where if there's an opportunity to get in with plug and play, get connected with startups that can bring solutions to problems um, in their businesses, I think that's a huge opportunity that we'd
Yeah,
love to allow y'all to
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
expand on.
So to give you some context on that side, right? So Plug and Play now works with over 600 Fortune 1000 companies from all over the globe. And why they partner with Plug and Play, what that means is their C-level typically sign off on their contract. It's on minimum a 3-year engagement, and they designate a respective team to work with Plug and Play on their challenges. And what Plug and Play essentially does with these corporations is, one, we go in with our team, we identify their key problems. Maybe they've already done that and they've done a lot of that work. We triage them, so we prioritize them based on kind of what they think will have highest impact to the organization and lowest cost or whatever it may be to get there. And then we basically use that as a planner and say, all right, cool. So, all right, insert organization name. Let's focus on our staffing issue as an example, because we're facing staffing shortages all over the US. And then we'll use that as essentially the material that we then find startups on. So then corporations are facing these challenges. They're typically looking at other big companies for
Right.
their solutions. And what we're saying is, hey, there's all this new technology that you don't know about. There's thousands and thousands of companies. We'll find the best one that fits exactly what you need and introduce you. And what we hope for is that in that process, you're able to find a solution to your problem. The other big value is that you're sitting alongside your peers in industry. We're one of the few platforms in the world where it could be peers or it could be actually direct competitors. We have Mercedes and Porsche that sit next to each other,
Yeah.
Pepsi and Coke that sit next to each other. Name two kind of, I mean, if we, with our new sports tech vertical, maybe it's the Red Sox and the Yankees sitting right next to each other.
Right.
But they'll face those common challenges. They'll work together. They'll, respect their respective confidentialities. But that helps those respective people at those companies learn from one another,
Right.
saying, "Oh wow, my direct competitor or my peer in the industry is working on so and so. I have never even thought about approaching my business like that."
Yeah.
That often becomes a huge but valuable part of plug and play. Whereas you don't need to necessarily find and work with the startup. Maybe it's just learning from one another and seeing how you can adapt with one another.
Well, and I think a lot of people do understand that, but the people that don't, I would highly recommend you just attend a summit that Plug and Play puts on. We had the privilege to go to the Winter Summit back in December, and myself and Mike Wilkes, and I walked in that first morning, and I don't, maybe there were 500 or 600 in the same room,
Yep.
but there were thousands there at the facility. You're talking a building the size of our building, and y'all have the entire building with plug and play staff and corporate partners, and you see those things happening. You see these corporate partners sitting next to each other. I remember one of the corporate partners got up and spoke, and I think they had over 10 startups that are bringing them solutions to their problems. That's massive. I mean, you're making those connections, sitting in those roundtables with the CVCs, and really understanding what problems they're seeing with, I mean, like you said, I mean, the Chick-fil-A's, the Red Bulls, these massively large companies are sitting next to each other, trying to bring solutions to their problems across the industry. I think that's massive in what y'all are doing in bringing, um, you know, just people together and connecting people to solving problems.
Yeah. I mean, to give you an example, right? I mean, we work with Mercedes. Um, and if you drive a Mercedes today and have the latest software, the MBUX software, there are about 10 or so technologies from startups that Plug and Play has introduced to Mercedes over the years that are in that car. So there's a real time impact of this.
Right.
It's as simple as connecting people, but it can be as profound as honestly changing these entrepreneurs' lives. When they
Yeah.
sign a deal like that, their business is 2, 3, 10x overnight, and then they become major employers, major beneficiaries. Those entrepreneurs themselves often do well, and it's kind of awesome to see the impact of that as well.